So with all the chances that Heartofok wasted, they were able to put 3 past Karela, and the Phobians have returned to winning ways with a 3-1 victory over Karela there. Salim scoring that belter, and of course that man Hamza Issa getting his 11th Premier League goal of the season by converting from the spot to make it 3-1. So Heartofok are delighted with the win. After going 3 games without a victory, the Phobians are back to winning ways. For Karela and coach Abubakar Damba, they are going back to the north with no points, even though it could have been worse for them. My name is Mutala Yakubu, still in the studios of StarTimes Adepa Channel 247, and here with Francis Aboyibo Blackgate and of course Josiah Okokwe. Josiah, 3-1 victory for Heartofok, but they could have been more. I'm sure the fans will take this one in good faith.
Yeah, and you can see the smiles all around, the bars, the vibe, the players in good mood. This is what sometimes a win does to you, especially when you've gone 3 games without even a single point. It changes, your mood, your psyche. It gives you more confidence, and that is what Accra Heartofok rightly deserve. Today, you could see that once after going down, a goal down, in the first 10 minutes, they just had to, step on the accelerator, don't take your foot off the pedal, just press, try and create as many chances. Today, the only thing that didn't really go well for them was that they were just not clinical enough. They could have scored 6 or 7 in this game, but they just wasted all the chances. The chance that fell to his Bontin. Hamza Issa also getting, a glaring chance to have just scored after that wonderful piece of skill from Salim Adams. They had the chances, but then I think after 90 minutes, Mutala, this is what the coach wants. He's been frustrated for some time, and we've spoken about the fact that he keeps on tweaking things just to find the right, rhythm, the right system to accommodate these players. And today, I think the worst rating for any Heartofok player could be 7 out of 10. They all came to the party. They all did so well, and they deserve this win.
Francis, Heartofok could have scored more, but you were saying, the 3 points is what matters, and since they've gotten it, they should be content with the 3 goals.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. If you look at what Heartofok have done this season, this is the game that our rates highest in terms of their premium chances creation, quality balls into the attacking channels, movement of the players on and off the ball. In the second half, the substitutions even paid off brilliantly. You look at Salim Adams, climb from the bench and score an absolute scorcher. That goal will rank as one of the finest goals of the 2023-2024 Ghana Premier League season, because the range that
a clear goal of the season contender.
The range from probably Emmanuel Keyeke scored one against Kumasi Asante Kotoko as well at Samatex.
Yeah, and he scored one against Indiana at the Nana Jimabedu Park.
You could tell that we have contenders, but that was a cracking goal. Take nothing away. Scored by a brilliant player. And his all-round play, he definitely brought something to the Heartofok team that they were missing. But the moment he stepped on the ball, there was only one thing running through his mind. And on camera, it can't get better than that. He picked his spot, picked his moment, put his laces through it. So much power. And at this particular point in time, it was all smart for Accra Heartofok.
I had taken my eyes off the screens when that ball went in, but once I saw that ball flying in, I knew it was only Salim Adams that could hit that. That is his trademark effort there.
The moment the ball left his boots, you could tell that the ball was destined to hit the back of them, because the range at which the ball zipped past the goalkeeper, had nothing to do, and he knew that something hit him. It's like a rocket, straight down there, or an arrow. There is nothing you can do about it.
It would take 2 goalkeepers to save that, but Josiah, that is Salim Adams and his trademark there. He has that powerful drive, and that is the reason why Heartofok were delighted to have him back from Cincinnati.
Mutala, that was a dynamite of a shot, and that was breathtaking.
This is about 35 yards.
That's close to 40 yards or so, and it takes players of extraordinary
quality,
brilliance and quality to score from such a distance. But then just look at that pinpoint accuracy. Everything about this goal is just sublime. And just look at that thing. And there's a player who knew what he was going to do with the ball before he even received it, because it took about less than 2 seconds for him to unleash that, right after taking that ball from Otanga, who did so well with that press to just nick that one onto the path of Adams. But then just look at that strike. And in recent games they've played, you could see that he's the one who has been on set piece duties within a certain distance. And whenever he strikes it, you could feel that there's some power behind the ball. And once he struck this one, the goalkeeper would always struggle to deal with this one. Even world-class goalkeepers.
You don't save these, right?
No.
You can't. You might end up injuring yourself at your own peril, but then you can't. You just sometimes even allowed to let it fly because there's nothing you can do about this one. But then the player has something in him. It's shocking that maybe he wasn't tied down at Cincinnati, but then ever since coming back to Accra Hearts of Oak for this second round, he's been superb. You just don't take anything away from Salim Adams. And even the way the coach plays him, sometimes he pairs him together with the striker. Sometimes he plays as a number 10. But then anywhere you put him, I think this guy is
So that was the second goal for Hearts of Oak there. Salim, with that belter. Then there was another goal from Hamza Issa from the penalty spot. Goalkeeper Karim committing another error there. I thought this was an easy catch for him, Francis, until he spilled the ball and Hamza Issa was attacking the ball. Then he pushed him down. It was a straight penalty. He gave the referee an easier option of whistling.
Before the game, the spotlight was on the Hearts of Oak goalkeepers, but he came to build them out with blunders in this game. And it's shocking for him to be playing under a former goalkeeper in Abubakar Damba, the coach of Karela. He's a goalkeeper. And for this goalkeeper, Nasir Abdul Karim, to put up this kind of performance in front of the cameras speaks a lot of negatives about the kind of training that he received on the training ground. Because from first half, it was there, even the goal they considered, the equalizer for Hearts of Oak was a howler. And for him, this was just a routine catch. The ball bounced. He has his body in front of the ball. And as to how he misjudged the flight of the ball, look, this should be a routine catch. And it's poor. It's terrible. And he was lucky not to get a matching orders because he was on a yellow card.
Yeah, he could have been sent off for a second yellow card, which I think should have been given to him. Because this was a yellow card offense.
Yeah, it was a yellow because he basically just went into Hamza Issa and pushed him to the floor.
But why is Josiah smiling? I mean, you're looking on the screen and you're just smiling.
A bit unfair. That would have been double punishment. You know, something that the laws in recent times has been tweaked a bit. Yes, it's if he wasn't on a yellow card, you say that was a yellow card offense. Yeah. But then this is not a sending off offense. But then you question the goalkeepers' confidence.
But Josiah, this passes for a yellow card on any game.
Yeah, but then I'm saying that, if the goalkeeper is already on a yellow card, this is not a sending off offense.
It should.
I'm sure the referee was a bit lenient.
Knowing that he had already committed instances where
a howler,
players, get away with certain offenses because they are already on a yellow card.
Yeah.
It takes severe, tackles and all that, harsher ones. I think on that occasion, to have sent the goalkeeper off would have been, I don't know, it just would have been unfair to
So then Hamza Issa stepped up and there was no iota of doubt that he was going to put that away. He was the coolest man in the Accra Sports Stadium. He admits a couple of chances, but this time I saw the likes of Salim talking to him. He stepped up and planted the ball beautifully into the net to make it 3-1.
Yeah, Mutala, it's natural for Hearts of Oak. It happens to be Salif Ibrahim who happens to take their penalties.
Yeah.
But at this particular point, naturally, we are about 8 matches to end the season. So he is gunning for the top markman of Golden Boot. Let me put it, the Golden Boot award of the season. So they have to give him the ball and encourage him, and they did that. And he scored. That takes his tally to 11, making him the most leader striker in the division this season. Until Nations FC plays tomorrow, that's when we will see whether the Nations striker will be able to hit back. But for now, from nowhere, debut season, 11 goals in Ghana Premier League is not a mean feat to chalk, Josiah. That tells you that this chap has something in him. And if he continues, today he could have scored a hat-trick in this game. He must be lethal enough in front of goal. But, you miss some, you score some. But for Hearts of Oak, generally, the entire team in attacking position, they click, they played, they carved out the decent chances, but they were not just lethal enough. And this is the Mohamed Kudu celebration there.
Josiah, who passes for man of the match for you? For me, I think that, yes, Hamza Issa scored twice, but there was one man who was like the Terminator at the back, Michael Ampedu. What a player he is. He made one important tackle that could have tied the game at 2-2, and that you could say that was the time that the changing phase of the game, because had that ball gone in, Hearts of Oak would have found it difficult to recover.
And he's a rock solid defender, someone who gives you so much in defense and going forward to. He adds a lot of value going forward in attack, and that's.
But this celebration is becoming iconic now.
Yeah,
the Kudu celebration,
and it's becoming rife as well. Yeah, almost everyone does it. Garnacho does it. Almost everyone in football now. That's how iconic it is. But then talking about Michael Ampedu, what a player he is, and I believe he's been one of the best signings so far this season. Mutala, this is a player who he plays under no pressure, even when the team isn't playing so well. I think in the last 2 games where, in the absence of Dennis Nkrumah Kosa, he's been played as a stopgap left back. That's where he struggled a bit, because naturally, he uses his right foot. That's a natural right foot, frequently. But then, if you are to play a right-footed player at left back, he should have some qualities.
Josiah, what amazes me about Ampadu is that he's not your flamboyant right back, but he does his job perfectly. He sticks to the task, and he reminds me of Sir Alex Ferguson,
Philip Lam,
and O'Shea, Gary Neville. They were not the most flamboyant of defenders, but they do their job.
The most reliable, the most tactically disciplined players.
He sometimes plays as centre back as well.
Yeah. He's just a good player. And I was surprised that even after Hamza Issa scoring a brace, it's very rare for you to find a player who doesn't contribute, in terms of goals, and also fails to keep a clean sheet, win the man of the match when his own teammate has scored twice.
Yeah.
That should tell you the kind of impact he made in this game. And like you said, that game-changing block or tackle he made, and I think that was the line, because if Hearts of Oak had conceded from that ball, it would have changed the entire face of this game. Maybe Hearts of Oak would have dropped 2 more points. And that's how reliable he is. And whenever he's fit, trust me, he's one of the first names you find on Ouattara's team sheet. He's been there. He's been ever present during the time of Martino's Koopman. He's still been there, even when TJ was there. He's still been there under Abubakar Ouattara. And that's the kind of player.
Okay, so that is the top scorer shot at the moment. Hamza Issa moving on to 11 goals with the brace today, and Boatin a free of Nations FC also has 10. Isaac Minta has scored 9 goals for Adriana. Augustine Okra has also Isaac Minta is no longer with Adriana. He's been transferred. Augustine Okra as well has left the country, but Stevie Desimukwala of Kotoko has scored 9. Kwabna Owusu Prince, who plays for Bibiani Gold Stars, has also scored 9. And we have 2 players from Samatex who have both scored 8 goals. That is Baba Hamidou Musa, the striker, and Ivan Sosewusu, the winger. 11 goals so far for the youngster. No one saw this coming?
Yeah, no one saw this coming, but in the first round of the season, the moment he started scoring in that game against Mediama at Accra Sports Stadium, I was at the stadium that day, and I was like, wow, this guy, he's a special talent. But he had a dip in form when Hearts of Oak themselves were not doing well. But if you look at him, his general play, the way he attacks the penalty box, the way he legs around, his judgment, the way he sniffs things even before they happen, like the first goal he scored today, it will look easier to people. But if you are not that kind of a striker like Filippo Inzaghi, who is always looking out for the tiniest of spaces around the penalty box, you can't be able to benefit from such howlers. And he reminds us of Ishmael Ado, the way he legs around, pops up with the goals. So in terms of he will score goals. He will keep scoring these goals in the league, provided Hearts of Oak will link up with the midfielders will link up with him properly. But it's Baba Hamidou Musa, the striker for Samatex, that I want to talk about. If you know him from Sky FC, last season he was the top scorer across the Division 1 league. He scored above 20 goals for Sky FC. Then Samatex decided to invest in him. Now he has 8 goals. He also had a dip in form. But at the last end of the season, expect a lot from that chap, because if you see him play, Josiah, he's a very, very, very good player.
Josiah, and Hamza is not stopping. I mean, his never say die attitude was what resulted in the penalty for that 3rd goal. He never stops running, and he will chase down everything. Anytime I see Hamza, it reminds me of Alex Asso, just that he's a bit more clinical than Alex.
Exactly, he's relentless, without the ball. We've spoken about his work rate as a player, what he adds to this Hearts of Oak setup. It's not just about scoring the goals, but it's also about how or what you do without the ball. And you look at Hamza Issa, and without the ball, he's one of the best, pressers in the game. He works hard, and just look at how hardworking he was to create that penalty for himself, which he dispatched later on. That's what you get in a striker like that. A striker who is not just about the goals, but then gets the goals, can create some, and also hardworking. And that's what he brings to the fore. And I'm just checking the records, and he didn't start the season with Hearts of Oak. He made his debut for Hearts of Oak in that match week 4 game against Dreams FC. And he came on and played just 43 minutes. So if you're comparing his minutes to the number of goals he scored, I think he's been more clinical than most of the strikers in the league. because he's not playing. He's only started 15 games out of the games that has been played so far for Hearts of Oak. And just look at those numbers: 15 starts, 11 goals. That's quite huge for him.
Our history has been changed really for Hearts of Oak. The first time they are beating Karela since 2019, and even that win that they got was the normalization committee. They had never beaten Karela in the Premier League in recent times, and finally, Omaye. But these are the next 5 games that Hearts of Oak will be playing. Then they will take on Legon Cities away from home. Then they play Accra Lions at home, Brekum Chelsea away from home, Mediana at home, and Asante Kotoko away from home. Sam, tough games for them, Francis.
Yeah, tough game for Accra Hearts of Oak. You look at Legon Cities away, it will be in Dew these days. Then you look at Accra Lions. Accra Lions themselves, they always find it difficult to play against Hearts of Oak. Hearts of Oak just know how to beat Accra Lions. No matter the kind of form in which Accra Lions are, Hearts of Oak always find a way to beat them. I'll be happy if they can bring back the fixture. You look at Brekum Chelsea. Always a tough ground for Hearts of Oak and Kotoko to visit. It depends on the mood in which Chelsea themselves are, because with Amankuna and Co, they have the players experience-wise to trouble any team. The Adriana in Accra, last season, if my memory serves me right, beat Hearts of Oak at Accra Sports Stadium. 2-0. Isaac Minta scored in that game as brilliant. So it depends on how Hearts of Oak will approach that. And then Asante Kotoko on 25th of this month, Blockbuster in Kumasi. It used to be the El Clasico of Ghana. For one reason or the other, I have my personal distance, but I won't mention that.
But surprisingly, that game that Hearts of Oak lost against Kotoko in Kumasi was one of the best games that Hearts of Oak played all season.
It was all right. So if you look at this, Hearts of Oak against Legon Cities, Accra Lions, I expect them to win. But the matches in Brekum Chelsea, Adriana, and Asante Kotoko, cracking games that can go in any
direction. I think they can pick how many points from this one?
They should try and at least pick 10 points from these games. Mutala, I'm just not saying this because, of today's performance. But even when Hearts of Oak are losing games, they play so well. They even play sometimes better than the opponent. We saw that game against Mediama. They should have won that game. We saw how good they were on the day. And I'm looking at the fixtures over there. That matchup against Legon Cities is similar to that against Karela. These are teams that are always a thorn in the flesh of Hearts of Oak. They really frustrate them so much. They played against Legon Cities in the first, in the first round, and it was a draw at the Accra Sports Stadium where they failed to even score a goal against Legon Cities. They can go to Dewu and upset them if they can fix their problem. Today, I believe that problem was fixed for 80 minutes because when they consider that goal, you'll be thinking, it's all coming back again. The blunders at the back, it's either from a goalkeeper or a defender. We've seen this thing with Hearts of Oak so many times this season, and at some point if you're a fan and you were in the stands, you think, it started again. But then I think they showed some character over there to beat them. Those 3 losses has really affected them. But that's how I believe they learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, finally Hearts of Oak have a win there after 3 consecutive defeats. The last time they won was against Heart of Lions. So the Phobian fraternity will be super delighted with this win there. But Francis, as I was saying, history has been changed. Yeah. Finally, Heart of Oak have a win in the Premier League against Karela.
Yeah, based on what we've seen, you could tell they really deserve to win.
There's always a first time and
there's always a first time. You can break anything in life, and today the curse or the hoodoo has been broken. So Karela themselves, they will know that they've been beaten by a better team today. And Hearts of Oak basically played well. The scoreline is even not enough. They could have won by a larger margin.
I'm sure a coach like Abubakar Damba would listen to the post-match interview later, but I'm sure he would even appreciate the fact that Hearts of Oak were the better side today, and his team never for once looked like they could handle the fire that Hearts of Oak threw at them.
He should really be grateful. He should be grateful, and I think he should be grateful for the fact that the Hearts of Oak players just didn't come to the party, especially the attackers, because we saw the number of chances they created. A couple of chances to Hamza Issa, Isubonting, a glaring chance which was even more difficult to miss than to score, and he managed to miss it. A couple of chances they had, Kasim Cisse had his, just so many chances, and they scored the difficult ones, because you can imagine how they managed to miss the sitters, and Salim Adams had to come and score that rocket for them to take the lead, which was quite ironic. But then they just need to start scoring. If not for that, I think for Karela, one thing about them is the fact that they keep a good shape. They have one of the best defenses, but when they are conceding, they tend to concede a lot of goals. We've looked Prior to this game, in their last 5, they've conceded 11 and they've scored 3. Today they managed to score, but then they just couldn't keep their sheets clean, and they ended up bringing Hearts of Oak back into the game. They just need to be they need to keep those concentrations level very, very high, especially when you're coming up against a team with so much quality like Hearts of Oak.
Francis, what does it mean for Hearts of Oak? But before that, let's look at the next 5 games that Karela themselves will be playing. They would be going back to Naledigo to take on Accra Lions before they take on Aduana at the Nana Juma Bedu Park. Then they play Nations FC, who are fighting for the league at home, and they travel to Bechem as well, Nana Fosuji Abo Park, where they take on Bechem United. Then their next game would be against Inswaterman at home. So 3 home games for them, 2 away for them, and you know how ruthless they are at the Naledigo Park.
Yeah, in terms of Karela, I can tell you, any team in the division going to play them in Naledigo will always look at beating the team, and I'll fancy them to beat the team, because ever since they switched camp, everyone that went there, they beat them, and they beat them very well. So home against Accra Lions, home against Nations, home against Israel. I am not saying it's going to be easy for them, but they stand as favorites. But if you look at the fixture list that they have, traditionally, Accra Lions, they can navigate. Aduana Stars, tough. Nations FC, tough. Bechem United, tough. And Israel. But if I'll stick my neck out to them, I'll give them the win in their home matches. So I'll give them 9 out of the...
Josiah, Karela, survival mode, would want to move away from the relegation zone, but these are their next 5 games.
I don't think any team is ready to play Accra Lions. Trust me. Even when you are playing at home, you don't want to face Accra Lions.
But Karela are very ruthless.
Yeah, we know they are cutthroat when they play at home. We understand, because they've made Nailugu, a fortress for themselves. But there's an Accra Lions team that are scared of nothing. Whoever they come up against. There's a team that went to Asante Kotoko at the Barbara Sports Stadium, and they beat them by 3-2.
And they got beaten in midweek by Hearts of Lions.
I'm not saying they can't lose away games, but what I'm saying is they are so unpredictable that Karela should really stand firm if they want to take points from that game. Yes, the other home games they can play, they can win those games, but then you have a tough fixture again against Nations FC, who are gunning to win the title. That even makes it more difficult for you. I wouldn't say they can win those games, but then they need to be convincing. With this performance today, if they are going to stick with that same 11, no tweaks, no change in setup and all that, it's going to be very, very difficult for them.
Francis, I was asking what this win means for Hearts of Oak and what it could do to their confidence.
It will boost their confidence, Mutala, the pressure and the negative publicity around the club. At least the cloud will be taken away from them now. The players can clear their mind. The coaches can have a clear pattern, and then they'll prioritize whatever they want to achieve for the rest of the season, because we are getting to the business end of the season. And for the past 2-3 seasons, Hearts of Oak have not been finishing the league well, especially in their last 5-6 matches. They've been going on a losing spree, and they need to put break on that and put things right. This season, I think the league, mathematically, Hearts of Oak are not still out of winning the league. Anybody at this particular point in time can win the league, mathematically. But realistically, on paper or out there on the playing pitch, they need consistency. They need to put up decent results.
That seems to be their biggest challenge.
That's the biggest challenge.
Keeping up with the consistency.
You need to go on a winning spree to be able to shoot yours. Because in the Ghana Premier League, just 6.2 matches can elevate you to the top. In midweek, Mediama won, and that shot them to the 5th position, putting them at a very advantageous position to have a crack at the league. So, sometimes those who are on top, they look over their shoulders and they realize that we have a chasing pack. Sometimes the pressure can make them wobble. And when you wobble in 1 match, 2 match, you can bottle the league. Adriana last season, basically under Pakwesi Fabian, we all thought we were winning the league. 5 or 6 matches to go. They bottled the league. You understand? So I think for Hearts of Oak, this should serve as a template for them to build on. Because what they've done this evening speaks a lot of positive vibes about the team. That tells you that the defeat in Mediama, in Takwa, has really woken, they've woken up from their slumber, and now they are ready to play something brilliant. And if they continue like this, Mutala, I think they will go on a decent run.
Okay, so the Phobians getting the 3-1 victory, and I'm sure every Phobian out there is super excited with this result. So let's go back to the Accra Sports Stadium and have the post-match interview of the coaches, starting with the assistant coach of Hearts of Oak. Right.
I can see you are smiling and excited today.
Yeah, it was a nice feeling, The way the boys play, we have to congratulate them. They really play so well because we dominated since the blow of the whistle. although Karela took us by surprise to take the lead, but we managed. You know, they play according to the plan. You know, so I'm happy for them and a good result.
The Karela coach Abubakar Damba has admitted that you were the better side. You played with a lot of zeal and momentum. What worked right for your team in this game?
Yeah, like I said earlier before the game, we have to go all out. We have to try as much as possible to turn things around. That's exactly what our boys did. They know what the supporters need and they really give it to them. So we are all happy with the result.
The importance of Hamza cannot be overemphasized. I spoke to you about him in Takwa. I spoke to you about him before the game. He gave you 2 goals today.
Yeah, I told you that's football. He can't be scoring in all the matches. But you see today, he scored 2. Even he's supposed to score like 4 today. So that's football. And I hope it will continue like this.
How would you describe that Salim goal?
Perfect. Fantastic goal. By all standards.
Next up is against your former side, Legon Cities. What should we expect?
Yeah, we are 3 points. Yes, we are going all out now. We are not afford to lose any match again. Yes.
Congratulations and enjoy your night.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hi, coach.
Hello.
Is that kind of performance you'll be looking back and compare it to the results and feel extremely disappointed?
Well, I should be disappointed, but I must say, House of Folk was, you know, they were a delight to watch. They played with so much momentum and took their chances. And football is all about taking chances. And I think House of Folk just deserved to win this game because they took their chances.
Would you say you couldn't even create enough to even take them?
We did not create enough, in as much as we scored the first goal. But then we went back to sleep. So we did not create enough chances, thoughtless of converting them. So I think the only thing we need to do is to give credit to the opponent. And I think the opponent did what they had to do, for which reason they won the game. And I congratulate them.
You were forced to make an early substitution because of the injury to Abdul Latif, who is an integral member of this team.
Yeah.
Did that destabilize your game plan?
Well, sometimes it happens in the game. These are unexpected and forced substitutions. He's an integral part of my midfield. He stabilized my midfield. His absence, we just had to replace him. And there is no excuse. And we can't complain about his absence. Because a complete team. And I think the opponent just did what they had to do. That is it. The day was their day.
So it's an admission that genuinely they were the better side and you were second as the best.
Yes, admittedly, Hearts of Folk played with a lot of momentum, I must say. They played with more momentum, created more chances, and converted their chances. So I think it is very clear. Hearts of Folk were the better side, and they carried the day.
Narelugu is becoming some positive hunting grounds for your side. You go back home for your next home game. What should the fans expect?
I mean, this is a game that we have lost. We are going back home. You should expect nothing but a win. Everybody wants to maximize their home wins, and I think that is exactly what we want to do. So obviously, going back home, we are going to maximize our results, and that is a win.
Right. Good luck in that game against Accra Lions.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Michael Ampedu, congratulations, was the man of the match. But Yanka game no asem. Who win we saying?
First of all, no matter we say match no a very difficult game. Share one no your mentality now say you lose against Ashgo, so you lose game ready. I home there and Accra, so we keep on pressing them and just like go small.
First go there and then cost you trim.
You can say hey you better say you lose game ready, so we have to young all out. We need this game. Never fancy any injury.
Now what is our performance? This is the watch man of the match saying.
We come at 3.
We come at 3. How is the feeling like?
The feeling is good. It's good. Me I'm cry. I think that's how me keep on working hard still.
Now I want for 2 ra. They ain't on for 2 ra.
Because too near media.
Yeah, me show.
Amen. Me that's it.
I think that was my nickname back in Kumasi, Tura, when I used to play for, coast football in Fantomas. I mean, you can dispute, but those who know me,
we beg you.
In Kumasi Central Barracks, Fantomas FC,
so that's your nickname.
And Coach Osega. That was my nickname. The likes of Jerry Akame Kumunyinenim. I was that good when I was playing as a right back.
He stole it from you, or
I'm sure.
So why didn't you copyright that?
No. I'm sure I can pardon Ampedu for stealing my nickname.
This evening, I don't want to laugh.
Tura.
But he's a brilliant player. I mean, he's giving his all.
Yeah.
He's one player that you can see plays out his heart in every Hearts of Folk game.
You know, Hearts of Folk were struggling to patch up that right back position. It started with Fatal, the former club captain, now who plays for Karela United. Then they recruited Samuel Inkum last season, but it wasn't working, so they had to improvise and put certain bodies there until they spotted him and decided to go and bring him back to come and play for Hearts of Folk. So I think basically his addition to this Hearts of Folk team have given them some sort of stability at the back there. He has given them some sort of experience wise, and then the way they approach their game is spot on. And this is his third man of the match of the season as a right back. That tells you that he's a very good player.
I mean, Josiah, our guest was right. Coach Abukari Damba could not help but admit that Hearts of Folk were just better than them.
Of course, you know, sometimes that's what the game is about. When you lose, you admit, and that's how you learn. And I believe, you know, going back on that long trip back to the north, you know, I believe he'll be reflecting on all the wrongs that happened in this game and how they tend to correct them in their next home game. He's a sportsman. He understands the game, and he understands that when his team has been beaten by so much quality, and the Hearts of Folk quality is undeniable. I've always said it, that player for player, Hearts of Folk have got some of, you know, the best players in the league, but it's all about trying to improve as a team. Individually, you can see the quality they have. They possess so much quality. You know, Ampedu is there. You have Agbesime, who has been named the captain. You have Salim Adams, who is exceptional on, you know, any day. You have Hamza Issa, who is currently the top scorer. So if you have all these pieces, you put them together, this should automatically give you, you know, a solid team. But then that's the unlogical part about football. Sometimes you could have the best players, but then you didn't have the best team. And I believe that's what Abubakar Ouattara is trying to get. He's trying to get the best out of the team and not even the individual players. And it's very, very important. For Abubakar Damba, he knows that, you know, danger is looming. He's very, very closer after this loss. It means that, you know, he's very closer to the bottom three, to the danger zone. And if teams like RT, if teams like Heart of Lions should win this weekend, then it means that there's a possibility that he could even sink further. It doesn't look good for him. But then, fortunately for him as well, they have 3 out of their next 5 games at home, which means that, you know, if they are able to ride on that home for an advantage, then they could try and, you know, distance themselves.
So one game done in the match day 26, a lot more to go. Quickly, if we can go through the fixtures or the upcoming fixtures again. We know that Kumasi Asante Kotoko will be playing tomorrow, and that would be a very, very important game because it is Dreams who will be hosting Asante Kotoko tomorrow. But there are other games that will be played. We'll go through all the fixtures to see what would happen tomorrow. But the Hearts of Folk fans have also been speaking. The last time we had Kotoko fans who were very peeved after that defeat that they suffered. But this time, Hearts of Folk fans are super excited. Let's have a listen to them.
You better has playing body nasi, you better coach nasi. Ne other has impending for us. Ankoya you trouble into sa akoye and then I say any other you de ma say eja has nyamia ya aduma and yetimi anya the 3 maximum points are ye peno ye that's it.
Okay, and now we take it to Hamza to me abo brace the Hearts of Folk. Edu baby na go cinema. And now Mawini and as Hamza about 3 goals. I don't know can performance coach in selection or yeah. Any players performance no who say.
Semi coach in the selection from goalkeeper Adepa striker as well. Okay. Perfect. And players back who mienu bi and ana enko ye bi ti say esubonten but abra was sisa na we Salim Bayenu say game na there I stable. Hamza a young player, fantastic player, has supporters, has management, and tries to bet me a keeper has or the next Ismail Ado for Hearts of Folk. So Ocean in fear ɔwɔ sisi a ɛne the type of football na ɔyɛ den ɔbɔ na ɔyɛ akɔla ɛtɔ de bi a ohun sɛ bɔɔl bi wɔ a wɔso killing no but as a young child there yɛnim sɛ growing up he is going to pick nti yɛ deɛ yɛni agye nea yɛka ne sɛ Hamza ɛnyere ne ho ɔnkɔ so ɛnyɛ training yɛnim sɛ ne next match saa aka no obetumi anya goals na man he is also a goal king contender so otumi yere ne ho saa ɛda mo
oh feeling ni yɛ good me okay yɛ okay say ya no mbebo ne netem bia dia ye ni problem ye okay pa feeling ye very good pa
ebre wo shem one no na oti wona hu ye say
me na me wo inside one na me tea go no na me ba na me catch am say ye beti ahye won because wontimi ma ye home na won bambe to twelekan 2 minutes time twelekan da ye fancho enti e me dia na me ware shemu say ye be hye won. Yeah.
At my next match, I don't know expect a few boys no.
Oh, your next match, na me catch a boys ni say, send a normal born no. Yes, moi. I'm more than a nediano. No more winning my near ye perin. Because they see ana ye winning no. Me who say pressure go kotoko force. Yeah, tonight what the pressure go kotoko force pa. Yeah.
I didn't know where I got to go.
Because me time to.
Oh, what's it?
Me 30 minutes.
2 men out time. Sir, start time. Bama, 90 minutes. I don't know who else about performance.
This year, the first half no normal tea akoma. But this year, second half no me change the trainer, coach here, you difference baby, and then a boy pa. It's a money bro much me aya dey. This year, I don't know from dodo. Am I support here na area. But this year, the match and crank Accra.
Okay, I play coach in the first 11 by who performance in say selection by no.
Oh, first half no dey na enko yie, but last minute to the first half no chances for my there. On second half so yes, 3 changes no. We saw changes in the game and they did very well.
That's it. Hello baby girl.
Yeah.
At the same.
Ayo.
Phobia. Phobia. Okay. Phobia.
The best.
Okay, so far so good. After 90 minutes, how's the folk 3? Karela 1, then I walk up on.
Okay, they may walk up on Kakra say. Say boys na ya Kakra. Oma ya Adepa na say go so there. Then so sela no egusua ye bobor. I mean ade a aye manage supporters ni na omo nkamo. Ni nyina ye enta team na chi. Na de togwe ye no. Ye mo na team no bibia nkwa anim. Na ball ma bodo oma ya Adepa.
Okay, after say House of Oglusu 3 matches to us no and now Oban na dan na ya wonim se na okwami aso mo wini ana se na so be lose dem house
na mi se kwa bia so be wini che se ye ntron san lusu prensa if the house no sanity so ye lusu tu ana to aso a enya adwuma se be better lusu ato aso miensa etinam se ne ba omis Karela de be show.
Okay, Phobia
the best.
Definitely the Heart of Folk fans are excited with the results there, winning by 3-1. That is good one for the Phobians. Finally, a green showing on the form guide. 3-1 victory over Karela. They would be looking at the next game against Legon Cities with some keen interest because they would want to win. And that win certainly has changed Heart of Folk's fortunes on the league table. But Monday 26 has just kick-started. Hearts have ushered us in with a 3-1 victory over Karela. Tomorrow, we'll see lots of the games being played because Indiana FC will be coming up against Heart of Lions. Bechem United would also face Real Tamale United. Then there's Dreams against Asante Kotoko. That is the game that will be showing you live on your screens. Mediama would also take on Legon Cities with Nations FC coming up against Bofuakwa Tano. In Swataman will face Great Olympics and Samatex will welcome Brekum Chelsea at the Nana Institute Park. Then on Monday, we'll finish off with Accra Lions against Bibiani Gold Stars. A big one there. Francis, lots of games to look forward to.
Yeah.
Are you in any game?
Definitely. The man that will be showing tomorrow, Dreams FC, top form against Kumasi Asante Kotoko, deep in form. And Kotoko has to win. Kotoko has to try and avoid defeats in these because the pressure on the shoulders of Malvin Oklu and Prosper Ogum is huge.
Okay, so we've heard reports from Kumasi that the IMC has given Coach Prosper Ogum this match to win, or I mean, down his tools and go. That is report that we are hearing.
Yeah, Mutala,
we can
the pressure
actually
from
claim
the last game is telling, and you could tell that at this particular point in time. You see, one thing about Hudson Kotoko is, as a coach, when you are coming and you go to meet the owners of the club and they tell you rebuilding, take your time and go and rebuild the club. Because at the end of the day, the supporters, the fan base, are not inclined in that mindset that we need to hurt ourselves like we are not winning the league in the next 2-3 seasons. You understand? Unlike Kotoko and Hearts, they always want to have the best players on the local terrain. They always want to compete properly for the league title. And truth be told, this season, before we started the season, Prosper Nate Ogum was told to rebuild Kumasi and Jikoto no matter the years it will take him. That was the communique. So why is the communique changing currently? Is it because they finished the first round of the season better? That is the reason why they are finding it so difficult to deal with. It's a problem. And if you look at what they are doing, to be frank, if you look at the form guide in terms of football punditry, yes, it's football tomorrow, but you can't fancy Kotoko to go to Dewu to beat Dreams. It can happen. But if you look at the form guide, I don't think they can beat Karim Zito tomorrow at the Dewu Theatre of Dreams. It is something that is glaring for everyone to see. So if the job of those two coaches are hinging around those two matches, that particular game in Dewu tomorrow, then they might lose their job come the end of the day tomorrow.
So that is it. Kumasi Asante Kotoko coming up against Dreams FC tomorrow. Very, very important game. Also, Josiah, those fighting for the title, those that are in the race for the title, Nations FC, Samatex will all be in action.
Yeah, I think that title race continues. 3 points just separating the top two. Samatex will be at home against Bekum Chelsea. Very, very tough one for them. And Nations FC as well also be at home and they'll be playing. So after both teams going away from home or playing away from home in the last game week, they both stay at home, and play their respective games. And I don't think, yes, sometimes we speak about the title race and we just omit Adriana, for some time. But
they are self-destructive.
Yeah, I think we shouldn't totally neglect them. Yes, they are about 2 games away from competing, but then let's not neglect them. But then, trust me, yes, quite a number of fans will be eyeing that Dreams FC Kotoko game. But then also, the title race still continues because neither of these teams would afford, a blip. No, you wouldn't.
No margin for error.
At this point, no, you just have
minimal.
Is that minimal?
No, listen, it could cost you. Despite the fact that it's minimal, it could cost you. So at this point, you'd be going into these games knowing that you have to win. But then look at the position of Bekum Chelsea. And they'll be traveling to the Century Sports Complex to play against Samatex. Very, very difficult for Samatex. Samatex got the better of Mediama recently. They traveled to Legon Cities. They drew 1-1. They got that late equalizer in that game. But then they'll be playing against Bekum Chelsea, who themselves, blow hot and cold sometimes. They are not so consistent. But then under their new coach, the former Hearts of Oak Gaffer, they are playing some exciting football. So I believe maybe that could be where the shocking results could come from. But then for Nations, they just have to win it.
So there you saw the first half of the table. This is actually the second half of the table. Hearts of Oak, after today's win, have leapfrogged Kumasi Asante Kotoko and are currently 10 there. Kotoko will be playing tomorrow against Dreams FC by the 11th with 33 points. Great Olympics are 12th with 32 points. Legon Cities find themselves at 13th with 32 points. Karela United are 14th with 30 points. Bofuakwa Tano have pushed Dreams FC into the relegation zone. They are 15th with 29 points. Dreams, they have 2 games in hand, but then they would be looking at tomorrow's game with some keen interest because a win for them could actually take them out of the relegation zone. They are 16th at the moment with 26 points. Heart of Lions are 17th with 25 points. Real Tamale United 18th with 25 points. Now, clearly, RTU, things do not look good for them.
This is not both RTU and Hearts of Lions. They are finding difficult. They have to put together some decent results, like 3-4 matches winning spree to be able to pull themselves away from this. But the funny thing is, as much as they try to win, Karela, Bofuakwa, Legon Cities, Dreams is only a matter of time. They'll peel away from this particular place. But looking at it will go down to the wire. The relegation dogfight, it will go down. I can see teams getting relegated on the last day of the season, like we used to have in the past. It will be tough for all these teams at the basement here. You could tell even from Masters and Tikotoko right down there, 3 matches in the wrong direction, you will seriously have problems to deal with. And it will be extremely tough for teams to be able to peel away from here. And Dreams FC, the reason why they will take this game tomorrow against Masters and Tikotoko very, very, very tough is they have 28 points, Josiah. Kotoko has 33 points. A win for them will put them 2 points behind Kumasi Asante Kotoko. And it will take them away from a relegation zone as well, barring results from other angles. And Karela, should Dreams win tomorrow, that will give them 31 points. So Karela automatically will drop into the red zone. So it's tough. The permutations, like Mutala said in midweek, this is where you have the permutations here and there, going reshuffling of the league table. So it's really looking very tough for the clubs at the basement of the table.
Okay, so that is how the table looks like there. But you know, we are streaming on Facebook as well, and a lot of people are commenting on the game. I'm sure most of them are phobians. You see Benjamin is super excited. Felix Kakraba Tando is also watching. Lord Daniel Entry as well. Abba Zachary Root, Tiwa, Abdullah Atta. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. All these people are watching the game. They were watching the game and are still watching the post-match discussion that we are having here. But it's about time that we say bye-bye to our viewers, but it has been an interesting one. That tomorrow we will be back with that big game between Dreams FC and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. It's a game that many would want to watch, and for obvious reasons, the Heart of Folk fans will be watching this one more than the Asante Kotoko fans. I'm sure when Hearts were playing today as well, Kotoko fans also actually be brave. But I would say a good evening to Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, a board member of Heart of Folk. He is a wonderful man. I was with him during midweek and we had a fruitful discussion.
I saw your briefing too.
Of course, he's such a great man. And he loves the work that we are doing here at StarTimes. He told me that Mutala Moye Juma, and I've been watching every day with my people. I tell them Moye Juma. He sends his greetings to everyone that makes it possible that we bring the Ghana Premier League to the doorsteps of Ghana. So we are going finally, Francis.
Yeah, you know, tomorrow is Sunday and Division 1 returns across the centers as well. There's a Volta derby tomorrow. Home Stars Football Club from Hull will be playing against Akachi All Stars at Akachiko Park in the Volta region. It's going to be tough. I wish both teams the best of luck. But one thing I have to say is, we know it's a derby. The Akachi guys should comport themselves. The Home Stars faithful should comport themselves. So at the end of the day, football will win. We don't want to see any sort of misunderstanding at the venue, and they should respect every single decision. In a game of football, it's either you win, you lose, or you draw. It's not a war for them. So I wish all both teams the best of luck in the Volta region tomorrow in the National Division.
Okay, so this is where we call it a wrap with our coverage of that game between Heart of Folk and Karela. It has been an interesting one in match day 26 of the Ghana Premier League. Thanks to my colleague Josiah Okokwe, and thanks to Francis Aboibo Blackgate, and thanks to the crew who are in here to ensure that we bring you the best of football action, and also our OB crew who are on the grounds who take the coverage for us, and they are doing a wonderful job. And to you at home for always choosing StarTimes. Forget Michael Ampedu. I am the proper Tura. My name is Mutala Yakubu. Bye-bye for now.